Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. How about that weather out there, man? This is
nice.
like officially like the weather I like.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Doors
yeah.
open, football on every TV.
Yeah.
Right, you're walking around, maybe got a cold beer in your hand, or the wind blows through the windows that are open. Feels a little bit like fall.
It was nice at our BDM event
Yes.
at Hollerbachs over the weekend.
God,
Thanks
it was
to
good.
everybody who came by. We have some. I have some stories for the BDM show. I think
Yes.
I may possibly get one of our BDMs fired this week. Because of a bet I made with her. I'll talk about it on the BDM show.
All right, yeah. I mean, the photos are all up on the BDM page.
Yeah,
all 214 of them. Thank you, Tony Munget Photo, for providing wonderful photos of the memories that we made.
Also, thanks to Chef Pat and Eric from Hollerbachs for helping us host the event.
Yeah.
Hollerbachs is so good.
The
man.
food is
It's
phenomenal.
ridiculous.
He has a beef tartare. Go get that now before he pulls it off the menu. It's got a pretzel, homemade mustard.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean,
it's
we
good.
were fed good. We drank good.
They
Here's
gave us Lederhosen that we wore.
my daughter is obsessed with my Lederhosen. Plus, she thought I stole them. She's like, "Did you steal the Leder?" I'm like, "I didn't steal the Lederhosen. We'll compensate Chef Pat for the Lederhosen." But it was just amazing. And you know what? I've forgotten how good their beers are.
No,
German
yeah.
beers. I forget that all German beer, for the most part, I'll just blanket statement. All the German beers that they have are great. I just went down the taps. They were so good.
I was drinking the Oktoberfest.
Yes.
I'm not. They have two Oktoberfests. I'm not sure which one I had.
Didn't matter.
But yeah,
Oh,
they're delicious.
So
Yeah.
good. The shandies, the different lagers. It was just a really good time. And if you've never been, man, we did the Beer Puppeteer. We had private music.
Although you killed it with the spoons, by the way. In
Do you
fact,
know I bruised my? Do you look at my thumb? It's purple. I purpled my thumb
You were doing a spoon off with Eckhart.
with Eckhart. Yeah.
And
Can I tell you something though?
I want to say that I voted for you to win.
Okay,
that.
can I tell you something?
You
Thank
did a
you.
damn good job.
But can I tell you something? I was a little mad.
Why?
I play, and I didn't know this until, I'm glad you reminded me of this. I didn't know this until I got there. I play the biggest set of spoons. I played my spoons are like 2.5 feet. They're big.
the clown
They're
shoe
big
of spoons?
Yeah, I play clown shoe spoons. I play big fat spoons. So when I got these little tiny spoons, I couldn't play with them. I was like, what the hell is this? What is this, a toy? I need spoons. They're like, no, those are the spoons. I need the big boys.
Well,
I
did
play
you get the
big,
novelty
heavy
ones?
rosewood. No, I got I got large. They make 3 sizes: large, medium, and small.
Or
And Eckhart and English Dave, all those guys, they play small spoons.
Are
I
the-
bought the jumbo mega. They're humongous. Andre the Giant could eat a soup of my spoons. They're huge. They're huge.
Well, are the bigger spoons easier to play or something?
No,
Like
harder to play.
Okay.
Harder to play. If I'd had my own spoons there, I think I would have dusted some bodies. Seriously, I was playing another man's spoons.
Yeah.
I think
you
I
still
I-
did a damn good
thank
job.
you. I appreciate that.
I was
Thank you.
impressed.
Thank you very much. I was actually impressed at how limber. Your sons call you stiff man. Not on Beer Puppeteer. You looked like a
Okay,
regular
well-
Pinocchio.
Let me complain about Beer Puppeteer for a
Okay.
second, because
You could just call it the beer contraption.
it doesn't seem like there's any way to successfully drink a pint of beer out of that damn thing. Is it possible? I'm pouring it on my head.
Well, it's because you got to
We're
go
all
slow. You got to go. It's like it's.
Well, you can't even lift the glass to your head. It's too far.
It's the finesse of getting your mouth over it
No.
and then tipping it back.
I tried.
I think we could do it.
I think it's impossible. The other BDMs tried. No one could do it, and then I just end up pouring it on my face, and
And
it-
everybody laughs and laughs.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
we
it-
laughed.
It didn't seem like there was an actual way to accomplish it, and also
I think you
had
need to put
pour
your lips on the when the tray. When you go out with your hands, because that's when you know that you've gotten the beer up to a level where the platform the beer stands on will hit the other wires. Like when you've got it like that, it's almost like you need to go over and back. I think you could do it. I just think we were doing it wrong.
I think you need a fatter glass that sticks out more. Our
Okay.
glass.
I was able to do it with my Mountain Dew easily.
Yeah.
Like a bottle of Mountain Dew.
Because we were putting it in a plastic cup, and it was level with the platform that it sits on.
Maybe
it needs to be
high. Sit up a couple inches.
Oh, maybe even more. Like,
okay.
it needs to sit up way high so that you could tip it into your mouth. Because it was pouring onto the shelf and just pouring all over.
You were
me.
just getting mad because you're like, come on, I'm a gamer here. What are you doing? I'm a sportsman.
It was a good time. Thanks to all the BDMs who came out.
Can I give you a compliment?
Hollerbachs.
You look so natural in your Lederhosen. Like, because you're so fit, you're running, Tom. You look like a real German mountaineer man. Like, in your outfit, you look great.
I feel like a real, like, I need to be bigger. You know,
I
look like I got leukemia.
Well, you know, I just look like a gnome, and everybody told me the entire night. So there you go. But for everybody that came out, thank you. BDMs, like those type of events are my favorite, and we really appreciate you guys coming out.
So I'm watching football last night, and I had a lot of bets on the Steelers because I like them in a bunch of different teasers.
Yeah,
and of course
they seem to be doing okay, right?
Well,
not bad.
I mean, they're gonna stink this whole year is falling apart. Although something weird happened. Okay, so. Yeah. And I know not everybody's into football, so I'll make it quick. But Justin Fields.
Well, what you're about to talk about, I do not think is a football topic.
So Justin Fields had been starting for the Steelers because Russell Wilson, and I put this in air quotes, had a strained calf or whatever.
Right.
His calf wasn't right. So Justin Fields has started, and they won 4 games. They were 4-2, right? So they've been doing well, better than expected.
Yes.
And then Mike Tomlin made an announcement like, "Hey, we're going to start Russell Wilson." And then everybody, including Cabin Boy Matt and like any Steelers people I know.
I didn't hear what did Cabin Boy Matt say? What was his opinion? Was he like, "Oh no"?
Well, no one understood why they were making the change because Justin Fields had been playing well and won 4 games.
It reminds me of when they pulled Hope Solo from World Cup. They're like, why would you pull the person that's doing well? Yeah.
So, and then I heard a podcaster talk about how in Justin Fields' contract, it's written so that I guess the Steelers traded a 5th round pick, but it was conditional, stating like in the trade that if Justin Fields plays over 50% of the season, then they get a 4th round pick. So it's worse for the Steelers if he plays more than 50%.
So they're trying to dial those numbers in.
Well, people were saying like, maybe this is the reason. Then I saw arguments back saying why would they care about what their 4th or 5th round pick? It doesn't matter. If they're winning,
like win the season.
Yeah. And then
I kind of go that way. I'm like, no, you got to win the season.
So then no one could figure out why they would start Russell Wilson if Justin Fields. And then apparently even Tomlin came out and said that everybody was against this move, and he was the sole person. I guess him and Russell Wilson were the sole.
I'm the guy
that it wanted to make this change. So it seemed fishy, and then I got excited. I was like, they're doing this because they never expected to win with these, Fields and Wilson.
And you always look at this as your edge, right? Like, okay, this is it.
And I'm like,
so which side did you go?
So, well, no, I was like, maybe this, not for this particular game. I was like, maybe this is going to cause me to actually win my bet because they're going to, play poorly for the rest of the season. They're going to force Wilson in there, even though he's going to stink it up. Yeah. And at the beginning of the game, it did seem like that. And he also was just throwing up what the commentators called moon balls.
Moon balls, yeah.
Which they were like, look at that moon ball. Which I was like, that's not a thing. He's just throwing it up for someone like to make a 50-50 grab. And then then the catches the wide receivers were making were ridiculous. Like just anomaly catches. Like Pickens was catching,
he's catching those moon balls. What are you talking about?
Just like,
Pickens is made for moon balls.
I'm like, this is not a strategy. He's just throwing the ball up and it's like a Hail Mary, whoever could catch it.
It was old school USA soccer. Remember where they would just kick it to the end, kick it to the end, kick it to the end.
So anyway, they end up winning, and now everybody's like praising Tomlin for putting him in.
He made the choice.
But I still think that Russell Wilson wasn't playing that well, and Justin Fields would have played better. But how can you make the argument? They won the game,
right.
And they at the end of the game they blew the Jets out. And by the way, the Jets stink.
I mean, I would say at least they have 2 quarterbacks that can win games. Like both quarterbacks have proven they can win a game.
Well, You're right. Yeah.
Kirk Cousins got disassembled by Seattle, and we knew it was going to happen, and he looks bad. Well, and we put Penix in for what, one toss? Let him throw one just to tease all of us fans? You want to tease us, make us feel bad?
Why did they put Penix in?
I don't even think they kept him in.
Did Kirk Cousins get hurt, or
no? He's just
playing poorly.
That not looking good. He stunk it up. Our D stunk it up, and our D is good, but our D was not good.
So anyway, back to this is non-football related, but I'm watching the game, and then they cut to Rodgers on the sidelines.
They put him in to run out the clock because it was out of hand.
Oh, okay,
thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that, buddy.
So just garbage time.
Yeah.
They're showing Rodgers on the sideline. I think this is
one of the biggest trending stories in the world today.
Yeah. And he's got
that and Britney Spears married herself. Maybe they're related. I don't know. They might be related. We'll see. We'll get to it. Yeah, okay. We'll talk about it.
But so Rodgers, and this is it's been exploded on the internet,
this is all
and a bunch of different memes and stuff. So
the Real Radio official account posted it.
Yeah. I think Jack Bradshaw was watching this as well.
What the hell is this guy doing?
So he has a water bottle. But there's no water in it. It just looks like something is on the bottom of the water bottle. You can't tell what it is.
It looks like it's the little towelette, it looks like.
And he's got his helmet on, and he is basically just sniffing the water bottle. He keeps putting it in between his face mask and then, sniffing it on both nostrils, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody's just assuming that it's smelling salts.
Roger Goodell's farts are in those bottles. Roger Goodell's farts.
Which I assume, too. I'm like, oh, he's just sniffing smelling salts, which I've seen players do. But then I think
my grandpa did it in World War II. That's the only thing. I think that's the only person I've ever heard mention smelling salts would have been my mom's dad.
Yeah.
Working at the DuPont factory.
And I've seen NFL players sniff smelling salts on the sidelines
I've only
before.
seen it in hockey, and I've never done it myself. And I always thought, based on the conversation you and I had this morning, I think you and I can successfully say that we thought smelling salts and ammonia are completely different, but they're not.
Yeah, it's essentially ammonia-based, which is what gives your body the reaction that you get. So then I started researching it about smelling salts, and apparently some ESPN came out with an article a while ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of information on Reddit too. Power lifters love this stuff.
Yeah. Power lifters, hockey players, NFL players. It says in the article that up to 80% of NFL players use smelling salts. So I was like, 80%? That's a lot.
I bet it's higher for hockey. Those guys are putting it in their eyes.
Yeah.
Remember I showed you that video of a hockey player who's just putting ammonia in his eyes so he can be aware.
And so the athletes use it. Now, forever we've seen people use smelling salts to wake up someone that's fainted, right?
Yeah.
Which apparently it's frowned upon nowadays in the medical industry, because if someone is actually hurt,
everything's frowned upon in the medical industry. You can't do nothing anymore.
Well, it's an old school thing.
You know when I was out on the medical industry? Do you want to know when I was out?
What?
I was out when people started telling me, they're like, don't move. You can't move her. Don't move her. You could do more damage. I'm like, I'm out. I was going to try and help. I was going to carry the person who's almost dead here. I was going to help out. But no, you're like, don't move her. You can make it worse. Okay, fine. I'm out. I'm out.
That's the reason smelling salts, they say not to use them for someone that is passed out or whatever.
You can use it for people in a wheelchair, though, because they can't go anywhere.
Because they could jerk awake, and that could cause neck injury to be worse, or that's
imagine if you paralyze somebody because they jerked away from your ammonia.
No, I know, yeah. That's why they say
I would feel terrible, man.
And so apparently it's just super popular, and the reason why they use them in the NFL or hockey or powerlifting is
we got to get our hands on some. We've been trying all morning to get some ammonia in here.
I thought they sold them at CVS, but apparently they don't, and so you have to just order them. They
can't get them anywhere. That's what I was talking about. You can't get anything you need real. You know another thing I've been trying to get my hands on? Gallium.
What is that?
Gallium is that metal that you see on TikTok and Instagram that if you put it on aluminum, it'll destroy it.
Okay.
So you put it on a Coke can, and it over time it makes the Coke can brittle and fall apart.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, it'll destroy metal. I've been wanting to put it on people's cars.
Is it like an acid?
It's not an acid. It just reacts with like certain types of metal, and it makes them extremely brittle, and you can break them with your fingers.
Weird.
I don't know. I see that, like, but there's a lot of stuff that I feel like you used to be able to get your hands on that you can't, like ammonia, can't get your hands on. Mercury, can't get any mercury anymore.
Well, you can order it on the internet. You can get anything off the internet nowadays.
Yeah, well, THC you can. I deliver right to my house. But anyway, going back to the smelling salts, hard to find.
But you can order them. I guess they don't sell them. I bet CVS and Walmarts and stuff like probably don't sell them because they don't want to be like sued.
Yeah,
or
Walmart
whatever.
can get them here in 3 days. That's what powerlifting.com told me.
Oh, okay.
I can get them here in about 3 days. Amazon, about the same. But Amazon, they don't do the little capsules anymore. It's a little rag. It's a little towelette, and you just take the towelette and you put it over your nose, I guess, and smell it.
Yeah.
2 things I've been wanting to try. Smelling salts, got to try that. And also, I want you to chloroform me.
Okay. Now,
And lay me on this couch until I wake. And then use the smelling salts to wake me back up.
Chloroform you and then wake you back up with smelling salts.
I want to say, I've always wanted to be like, the old rag over the mouth and then go sleep, little baby, go sleep. And then you just lay me down and then put the smelling salt. Oh!
See, I think the chloroform could probably definitely hurt you in some way, maybe.
Do you think
the
so?
smelling salts, they look harmless, and the only like.
Will regular ammonia work, or is that too strong? If we just bought a bottle of ammonia,
I think it probably is similar, but it may be too strong. I don't know. I mean, the smelling salts they're formulated to be a certain.
I started
percentage.
to dabble. I started to get into this. Go surfing instead in our Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomAndDanLive. He says there's a whole cottage industry of boutique smelling salts among the bros. It's a reoccurring theme on Rogan. I kind of wandered into that. Yeah, there are a lot of like very aggressive skulls with mohawks, and it's like an ammonia powder that you mix with water that gives you the strongest smell, and then you can like dry it out and reuse it because you use it when you're like working out, I guess, just to maintain focus or to supposedly it will ammonia will paralyze your nervous system so you can't feel pain.
But it's got to be just super temporary. Like it's only when you like inhale it and then it's a jolt. And I guess like that's why the
do you do it right before
players,
a big lift?
Yeah. Because it hypes you up and you're like insanely focused and alert.
But like, okay, so
I think that's why.
And I'm doing a serious question here.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be in my best interest not to just do it and then go over and get under the bar and do a lift? Wouldn't it be in my best interest to be ready for the lift, have my hands on the bar, then have you hit me with I go, sauce me, and then I get it and I'm like, ah! And then we bump chests, right?
Yeah.
And then we start slapping each other's boobs around, and we start hugging. We grease each other up, start pushing each other's bodies against each other.
What's weird is that it's like an old school thing, but everybody has adopted it and uses it and says it like it works for what they want.
Yeah, but there's no evidence of it doing anything.
Well, no. Well, I guess they say it makes people feel temporarily
It's topical.
alert.
It's topical.
Yeah.
So what I would say, it's like, like BioFreeze. Like I'll be like, oh, my hip, and then my daughter will be like, put some BioFreeze. I'm like, that don't work nothing for me. I'm too far gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a nothing.
But even if it's, I guess, psychological or
that's what I think it is. It's a ritual. And in sports, there's nothing more powerful than rituals.
It does seem like it'll
Especially
make you
for
alert.
Latin America. I mean, you go Latin American baseball guys. I mean, it's ritual nutty. But for everybody, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Are you like this with your training? Like when you're doing your you have a thing coming up that you're going to train for in December, a marathon. Do you
It's a half marathon.
or a half marathon?
Yeah.
Do you have a ritual that you like? You have to have it a certain way, or no?
I mean, they just tell you to do two.
But you're consistent with it,
medium
right?
runs and a long run,
and you do the same thing every time, same breakfast, same. I mean, it works. It works.
Yeah. But that's just you have to do it because of time wise. But no, it does help to have some sort of ritual.
Yeah, the chat room said exactly what I described. We have some former strong men competitors in our chat room. Thank you for being here. And they are saying, yep, that's exactly what you do. You go right before your lift and then you scream and do your lift.
It's just interesting because it's some weird thing that the rest of society doesn't ever dabble with. and all these athletes are like swear by it.
But it would work for all. Would it work for me? So I get in here.
Before the show,
no, I'm serious. Like right before we turn these cameras on, in order to be like lightning fast and ready for our guest and alert and remember people's names and do what we do. We go double ammonia and woo, and then we're ready to go.
We're gonna order some and we'll figure out. But
and start doing it in front of clients too, because they'll love that. They'll love that. Nothing more embarrassing than both of us doing our. We have to do our poppers.
It seems like it's so temporary that like how often are you doing it? Like in a football game, are these players doing it every time they're on the sidelines, like once before the game starts?
Do they carry it out there? Are they doing it on the field?
Not on the field, but on the sidelines. I mean, that's what Rogers was sniffing, and I guess
I'm surprised there hasn't been something. I will say that it does look very trashy. I said that this morning. A video, like anytime anyone is doing anything with a water bottle other than just drinking water out of it, I think you're a homeless person. Well, because water bottles notoriously are like you pee in them, you smoke crack out of them, you sniff the ammonia. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a vessel for water only. I think with
it seems like he was trying to hide it. And that's why it seemed nefarious.
Yes, but it looked. But it's in a water bottle. He should have a vessel that's like no different than a Stanley. I mean, something nice and aluminum and metal that has jets on it, and he should be sniffing out of that. Like, the fact that he was doing it out of a water bottle is bobo and trashy. It's trashy. You're a millionaire, for Christ's sake.
And, again, it seems like it's like putting your liquor in a water bottle at your kid's recital. You know, so like you're hiding the fact that you want to get drunk.
Right.
You know, like Rogers, he's like,
it's like my vape like in my pocket at church.
Yeah. It looks like he's hiding. Now, it could just be putting it in a water bottle and like poofing it out is an efficient way to do it, because I'm sure he's been doing this his entire career.
Still
right?
Looks trashy.
Yeah.
And also, at first I thought he was stupid because I was like, just take your helmet off if you want to drink, you idiot. Like at first I'm like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
But he doesn't care. I think he gets off. I also think that he's in that stage of his career where he's not as good as he was. We know that. And he gets off on all this stuff. Wasn't he going to take a break from Pat McAfee? He's back on there every day. Well, every week.
He gets paid $100K.
No, I know, but I thought they were going to move away from that. Remember when they said that? We're going to move away. We're going to move. Nope, they get him right back in there. He starts running his mouth.
Yeah. I mean,
they love it. They love it.
Well, it's all just sports entertainment drama.
And he knows this though, right? He knows that people are going to be eagle-eyeing his water bottle sniffing. He knew that.
Yeah, because you're being filmed.
Yeah.
Even if you're not by the cameras, by everybody in the stands, and there's no hiding anything anymore.
Your team also sucks.
Yeah. It does suck.
And you also just got a receiver. You made a big deal about it. Devontae walked out on his appearance on Pat McAfee. Like he was on the Zoom call doing the show, and then he turns, and then Devontae Adams pops his head in the frame.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw it, but it was just like, these guys, all they do is hype it up and then fail.
I'm always fascinated by players that switch teams, and the same week they're playing a game for a different team.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
As far as they're not running oh, this guy's confused as hell.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's it all must be similar enough that any player can just switch the team, I
think when you get to that level,
yeah.
And they're studying, they know what to study for.
And I guess for receivers, there's just certain routes you run, and then you just learn the route. And if you're a veteran, you just run. It's you have a
Devontae Adams has been planning to go to the Jets for how long now? Like a year. He's had plenty of time.
Yeah. You're probably looking
receiver. In receiver, they meet each other. They talk about how they went to dinner. You can see it in the show. That they've been planning to link back up. I don't think it's going to work, but they've been planning to link back up for a very long time. Chat room from EJ, he says, are they building another Taco Bell in his new house? Taco Bell, kudos to their social media team for doing a listing that his house is for sale in Las Vegas, and it does have a Taco Bell in it. They did a post as a fake realtor listing. It was really fun. They did a good job. In minutes after it was released that Devontae was going to the Jets, they put it up on X. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like it when they got their, when they're on it.
Yeah.
The Falcons have been doing good, but their social media, they do pretty. I think any of the teams that are connected to anything NFL you'll stay on top of that. Hottest thing in the world. So
yeah, and they all have social media departments now, and it's filled with interns and people that are just pumping.
Tons.
You know, like yeah, like
Tons.
you know, I mean, Austin that we used to know from Orlando City works with the Falcons,
yeah,
and
he is their main videographer. He is their guy.
But there's also multiple videographers on
Yeah, he
every
has a
team.
team.
Yeah, and then you have teams of people just constantly making content. Like that's why, like the shows like Hard Knocks are not as special anymore because every team is pumping out individual content of all the players behind the scenes. Like
it's too much.
You could watch. And there's so much information you can get now.
I have to watch Falcons only. I don't have time to watch anything else. Like they do so much social media content that Andrea and I'll watch it at night.
You could watch only Atlanta Falcons. You can consume only Atlanta Falcons content if you wanted to weekly.
Oh, from now until the end of time.
Yeah.
The Falcoholic website has unofficial podcasts and videos. And,
Yeah, there's probably 10 different Atlanta podcasts.
They have so many they disagree. You'll have warring factions of podcasters. You know, but yeah, sports, that's a whole different animal though, is the number of people that are doing sports podcasting. If we think that this is saturated, holy smokes!
No, yeah,
sports. Oh my god, dude! I'm cool with local comedy. That's a great lane to be in because sports. I know sports around. There's like 19 sports podcasts in Orlando.
There used to. We've been playing fantasy football for long enough. I remember when there was barely any fantasy football information that was readily available for people to use.
I think you said to me it would be cool if somebody did a fantasy football podcast. I think you said that.
I remember like scouring the internet to find like tier system. Because I remember you should draft by tier system, but there wasn't any tier system. Like there were some fantasy football magazines that were doing it, and like magazine, but like this was like 2009.
Dude, the first draft
or
we
something,
did, I brought a magazine. That's embarrassing.
And then
the first draft I did in Cabins League, I brought a magazine.
Yeah. And then
I want to say Beckett, but that's wrong. I don't remember. RotoWire? Is that right?
Dude,
RotoWire.
Even when we were doing Orlando City's podcast, there was no MLS soccer podcast.
Oh, we hit number one. I forget about that. The Orlando City
how crazy
podcast
is that?
Hit number one for sports podcast. That was a real number we hit. We hit number one in sporting, and this is before anybody did anything.
No, but it was. It had to have been for soccer.
Yeah,
right?
it was for soccer. Yeah, it was sports specific. But I mean, like
MLS soccer.
Yeah, we were.
Because I remember the like EPL. There were podcasts. There was
just a couple.
Two Suits.
Men in Blazers.
Men in Blazers.
Yeah, they're still going strong.
And now it's infinite. But it's funny because it doesn't seem like that long ago. But things were different 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, like you forget that. Like 2016. There were a lot less stuff.
I still think it's 2016 right now. I feel like it is in my bones.
Yeah. Well, that's a old man thing.
It's old man thing. Yeah, do you feel that sometimes too?
When you say 2017, I'm like, that was not that, just a couple
like
years ago.
Yeah. What you're talking about, to go back to your topic about like players that come in, they're traded, and then they instantly go to work. You never see it more, and it's impressive. You never see it more than in baseball. Like you'll see guys get traded and literally go right in the lineup, boom, home run. And then you're like, holy smokes.
Well, for them, it's even less of like learning the plays or what is it? It's like, I guess there's some stuff, but it's,
there's a
you're
weird
batting.
aspect of individuality there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're batting anywhere. Like, and then it's like you're playing your position in the outfield. Yeah. Like, it's basically the same everywhere.
And it's amazing to me sometimes when you'll get guys that are like, oh, he was playing left field, but now he's like, in college he was a shortstop, so they're going to put him there. And then you see the guy like go and he's doing something that you never knew he could do, but he's doing it amazing. Like Arcia, even for the Braves, I don't believe that, he wasn't our first choice in shortstop. But when he started playing there, he just got really good at it.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are just like muscle memory, freak of nature, mega athletes, Anyway, you want to do a couple of voicemails before we get out of here?
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, before we go into voicemails,
yes,
I did think of this. So me and Crystal went out to lunch on Saturday.
I should take my wife to lunch more often. That's romantic. I like that.
Well, the boys went with my sister to something with my niece, and so it was just me and Crystal. And we're like, let's go out to lunch.
Nice. Where'd you go?
And we went to the fanciest place we could think of, Ale House.
Dude, we just went to Ale House as the dentist. Maisie loves Ale House. She loves it.
We didn't even plan to go there, but Crystal had to make some returns, and then I was just like, Ale House? Because I wanted to watch
She wanted the 37 fried shrimp. They have 37 fried shrimp?
Rest of the stinky Dolphins game. Anyway, so my question is, and maybe we can get some response from...
Oh, it is Miller's. Sorry, the chat room is yelling at us, and I pointed this out last week.
Oh, whatever.
They like to be called Miller's.
I'm never calling it Miller's. I'm Ale House till I die. They call it Miller's. Ale House. I'll never say Miller's. So anyway, my question is for the waiters and waitresses out there, right? So
in general?
In general,
okay.
yeah, because I did think about this. So we had one of these waiters that was doing a skit bit the entire time.
Ooh, not a fan.
For what I imagine is because they want to get bigger tips, right? So then
they can backfire on you.
They want to do the jokes. They have like...
Give me an example of a joke that was used on you. Did he pull your pants down? That I would laugh at.
No.
If he just pantsed you, pulled your pants straight to the ground.
It was one of these
cup check? Did he tap your cup check?
It was more like, so what can I get you guys? Some shots? Like,
Fireball. 2 fireballs?
Like, it was trying to be fun, trying to, like, get us a drink or whatever.
Guy
no. It doesn't matter to me, right? And
you probably wouldn't even notice this unless Crystal kind of brought it to your attention.
No,
I got a real clown over here.
No. I noticed, and I knew, and I appreciate his effort. I like everybody's, putting their 100% into it. But I did think, I was like, I wonder how much, because and then I heard him do the same bit to the table over.
Oh, that discounts it, right?
It
does for me. If you give me the shot bit, I thought I was special.
And
I'll confront you.
Throughout the whole time, he's got some sort of joke with the refilling our Diet Cokes, and then
I put my penis in there.
What kind of the sauce on my zingers, and he's got all the bits.
Well, you like it spicy, huh? That'll blow your fillings out.
And then I thought to myself, I'm like, I bet a lot of waiters and waitresses have adopted certain sort of jokes, and it's kind of like stand-up comedy. You know what jokes kind of work or universal.
You got to know your bit.
Yeah, you're doing this hundreds of times a week, right?
You would start with what can I do you for, right? You'd start with that.
No. I just professional.
Do you introduce your name? Do you say, hi, I'm Tom?
Yeah.
And I'll be taking care of you?
I'll give you
the standard. Or do you go by Tommy?
But
Tom, TC?
I'm not doing some bit and skit and whatever.
You're not doing any voices?
Unless it does actually increase by 10% the amount of tips you get, right? But because what I thought, I was like, I bet most people, and tell me if you work this way.
Okay.
Most people just give the standard, 15 to 20%, right? I usually do 20 just because it's easier for the math. I double the first number.
I kind of start with 20, and because of the same reason.
But and then that's really, I don't even vary from that for anything. Good, bad. It's just 20%.
Yeah.
It's just, that's it.
I will give more if they're good because I'm hyper aware on that stuff. I'm always paying attention to it.
Now, but the good. What is that to you?
I'll give you.
Because the skit bits.
No, that's not good to me.
Because the person did forget our appetizer, and then
you're done.
And then some other stuff that we did.
I'll get you fired.
So no, we didn't care. I don't
you
care.
Get him fired. You're like, they forgot our appetizer. Could you please take that off the bill? I would like it itemized, please. Thank you.
So I'm wondering if the jokes actually do work with the percentage of tips they get.
It's what you do. It's how efficient. For me. I'll speak for me. For how efficient you are, how you bring things. If you want the extra, you want to go into 25%, 30% land, is when you bring back the cornbread that Andrea wanted, and you're like, I went ahead and threw an extra honey butter in there because that one's already had a knife in it.
They're giving you extra stuff.
Yeah, when they do. But I'm not asking for free stuff. I'm saying if you go hey, I put a honey butter in there because this one was on the table and had crumbs in it.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, you just took it up a notch. Or if they, I brought you a to-go cup here you go.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, all right. You get a little extra for that because you did things that are extra nice that you are allowed, and you didn't let them fall to the wayside, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
nobody
yeah.
wants to take the melted butter. You got me new butter. That's pretty sweet.
Of course, you go above and beyond. You deserve something extra. But I just feel like most people are just like auto-trained in their head, muscle memory, gonna just give whatever
20.
their standard
Yeah.
is, like 15 or 20 or whatever. And all this bit that he's doing, I want to tell him, I'm like, just stop.
Yeah.
Or I want to, like, does this, like, have you looked at the end of the week and said, like, this has increased my tips
Well, I don't
25%?
I don't think.
Because then it's worth it. I was like, all right, keep doing it.
But I don't think I can honestly tell you I've never had a conversation with any of my friends that work in food service, that work in hospitality, that have ever said, "Hey, I started doing
comedy,
an Australian accent, or I started doing acting a certain
Like
way."
Jeff, how Jeff Howell's constantly doing bits. Like if he was your waiter,
I
he'd
don't
be
want
doing
too slow. Oh my God, it is dumb bits. Oh my God, this guy's trying to sell some stupid AI photos to me. Like I can make my own in the car.
But,
$10.
But it's like how Jeff does those bits. He's always like knocking his head on the thing, like, oh, it's like, does that work?
A mental illness, I feel like, right?
Because
I think it can. I think it can. Yeah, I think it can, because I would be that guy. I think I have a rapport with people. I think you and I do. If you look at us like waiters, when we have people come in here, there is a tried and true way that we teach people, or talk to people rather, that is unlike how we would talk to our families, right? We do a shtick. We do a vibe.
We're doing a show for people to listen to. The waiter or the waitress is taking
bringing
your
the
order.
food, but
do the people want the show?
Not necessarily a show.
I don't want it.
Okay, all right.
I just
all right.
Just and not to be curmudgeon, but I felt like telling them, like, I don't need this, thank you.
Yeah.
But
so like when
that would be rude.
Like when I go to
DM.
John the barber and I'm like, hey man, I'm not in a good mood. I don't want to talk. You called me crazy for saying that.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever say that to
okay,
the barber.
right.
Yeah,
I did that too. I've done that many times to John. I'll be like,
he
hey,
told
man.
me to say that to him.
Yeah,
but I was
he's
like,
told me that.
I'll never say that to you because I feel like that will hurt your feelings in some way.
Even though I don't think he has any
no,
feelings.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
I know
he does have feelings, but
then also I'm like, I can just, have a casual conversation.
I got it. You should have. I think we've maybe even proposed this once before for other things, but what if you had the ability to change your waiter's demeanor by letting him know silently via a kiosk? Those little things that people can pay. What if you just hit, like, it's almost like going to Texas State Brazil, where the green button means more food, the red button means no food. You hit the red button to be like, hey, knock it off. I don't want to hear your
regular. I just want the regular.
Give me the yellow. Yellow is regular. Just like green is chat me up. Red is just bring me food.
Now, I don't get this a lot. In fact, this is the first time it's happened in a long time where someone had like a skit bit for every single time. Sometimes
it made a impression on you. I can tell you that.
Well, because I thought, does this work?
Yeah. What did your wife think of his? Who did it annoy more, you or her?
Well, she was like, I don't need this anyway. Because we're just we don't need.
So you guys had a grumpy date lunch.
No. We laughed at it. We don't care. We're not gonna be D-heads. We're not.
No.
We're polite and stuff, but we're like, we did feel like we don't need.
One more answer too. I have one more answer for you. I think where it really does hit the bullseye, old people. If you put on
old people like that.
If you put on a performance of putting on airs, if you're doing the jokes, if you are complimenting they're dressed up, going to church, you make I love your scarf. Or would you guys have? Are you celebrating an anniversary? You do that.
Okay, yeah. Well,
old people. Now that's where you get your
custom,
money.
Though.
No, but follow me here.
Yeah, that could work.
But it could work. But it sucks because they're the ones that don't tip right. So you're working your ass off.
For nothing.
That may not work. But it may not work. It may work, but I know that they are the ones that normally gush over it, right? Older folks. I don't know.
Yeah. But it wasn't custom.
Waiters, leave us messages. Just call in 1-844-TOMNDAN. Leave a message.
Yeah. What moves the needle?
Let us know.
Beyond like the actual like serving
Yeah.
the food and all that.
You can
comes with
email
that.
to
Like,
show@tomadan.com. It might be easier to email, but
like, yeah,
I want to hear from hospitality folks.
Like, we know that like giving extra bread and or like
Yeah.
bringing to go drinks and like all the
Yeah.
extra, like that will work obviously. But I'm talking about the jokes. Do the jokes and the skip bits work? You know,
Have you
because-
ever had somebody that you could tell is miserable serving you, and it had the opposite effect? Because I have.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes you because you're like, hey, you're bringing everybody down.
Yeah. Like,
I don't like that.
yeah,
You
that-
have to put on. You have to pretend to be happy. If that's
You
one.
do.
Yeah.
You do.
If you're just miserable, then
Yeah, I
don't
could tell
want
like you
that.
broke up with your wife or something. Like I could tell that your life is falling apart,
No,
and I mean, then you need to go home.
Yeah. Just give me the standard. I'm just like, but if adding the jokes does work and having all the
right.
bits,
We'll put it out there. We'll see
Yeah,
what people
yeah,
say.
yeah.
I'm going to
curious.
guess that some people do. It's going to vary person to person, right?
and I guess establishment.
Yeah,
'Cause
it will.
If you're out at the theme parks, I feel like that will work because people are already on vacation, and now you're giving them
But I
more
don't
of
get
a
that
show.
lot. I don't get that a lot.
Well,
I'll be
because
honest with you, every time I've been to like Epcot or something, I get some German guy who's got some resting bitch face, and he don't want to be there.
well, yeah,
He's
yeah.
not selling the Arsenal gear in England or in the Germany pavilion with the pretzels. They look just as miserable as anybody else.
Well, there's probably a lot of the theme parks.
The best
they
I've ever
share-
had is Christner's.
Yeah, well, it's super
There's
fancy.
legacy.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
legacy guys that have been like working in hospitality for 20 years.
But those people, they're making, some 80 to six
Oh, yeah.
figures.
They're doing fine.
And that's their profession. Like Crystal's uncle has been a server in a super fine, fancy restaurant
Yeah.
for like 20 years.
Yeah, I
and
believe it.
he does well, but he's the heritage like steakhouse in like Chicago. And so like
Have we
you can
not
make a
had
career
that
out of
for
that.
a weird job? I mean, I know we are the show most obsessed with jobs and employment, but have we never had a high-end waiter? High-end waiter I would talk to because I want to know, because I know they have other things they have to do.
Yeah.
Like
in the
side
restaurant.
work, the side work, and very high-end steakhouse. I don't even know what that would be, but I bet it's a lot.
But some of those people, like, they've made a lifelong career out of being high-end waiter, and you can make good money.
We got some people chiming in. Ricky says, my sister works front of house for Disney for 20 years, makes bank. There's some Norway Epcot hostesses and hosts that make six figures. My wife is in there. She says, Burns, you need to talk to them. I've never been to Burns Steakhouse.
Me neither. That's on Tampa one?
Yeah, that's the Tampa one that everybody talks about. I know we have a lot of friends that say that's the place. That one I think is set aside because they have a dessert room upstairs.
Yeah.
Like you go to a whole different area. My wife goes to Burns with a bunch of other men. Multiple times my wife has been to Burns with multiple men. You know who
multiple?
Let me just tell you, know who goes to steakhouses without their husbands? Hoers.
Come on. All right. Well, guys.
I love you, baby.
This is it.
Yeah. This is it. This is it. This is it.
We
This
gotta
is
go. We will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. All right. Are we going to
So that's it, actually.
lunch? Yeah, it's lunchtime, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll be back after lunch for BDM Show over on the BDM page.